The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is a new film by Guy Ritchie and stars Henry Cavill, Armie Hammer, Alicia Vikander, Elizabeth Debicki, and Hugh Grant. Now usually this is the part in a video where I briefly talk about the plot of a movie, but for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I can't do it because it's too freaking complicated. Long story short, a CIA agent who used to be a thief teams up with a KGB agent and they have to stop this stunningly beautiful villainess from launching a nuclear weapon and destroying the world. That's sort of what this movie's about, but it doesn't really matter because you've seen this type of movie gazillion times before. Now, I've been a fan of Guy Ritchie for quite some time. I think he's a skilled filmmaker. I loved Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Snatch is more or less the same as Lock, Stock, but with more well-known actors, and I actually enjoy his take on Sherlock Holmes. I know some people are pretty harsh on that particular Sherlock Holmes, but I think it's pretty entertaining. A lot of his movies are visually stylish and just a lot of fun to watch. He is also someone who is really good at balancing the action with comedy, so I was pretty excited about this movie. While I don't think it's a terrible movie, I'm kind of disappointed by The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and I think this is one of Guy Ritchie's least memorable films. It's not without moments, it's a decent spy film. Some of the action set pieces are quite fun to watch. In fact, it opens with this pretty sweet car chase sequence. It's brisk and thrilling and has some witty dialogue between the characters. This 10-minute sequence is so terrific and just reminded me of what Guy Ritchie is really good at, and that is juggling multiple things all at once. And in the case of this scene, it's the action, comedy, characters, and dialogue. And as I was watching this scene, I thought to myself, okay, this is actually really entertaining. I really hope the movie could maintain this energy because so far I'm having a really good time. And it does for a while, but after about first half an hour, it really slows down. One of my biggest issues with the film is the pacing. This movie feels really slow, partly because there's a lot more talking and planning and flirting and introducing characters and setting things up and explanation, exposition, and all that stuff, and not enough wishy zips-up boom action set pieces you expect from Guy Ritchie movies or any spy movies. There are about 3 action set pieces in the entire film, but none of them is done in a particularly memorable way. And considering it's written and directed by someone like Guy Ritchie, this movie feels terribly cliched. You've seen this plot before, you've seen these characters before, and you've seen this type of action movie before, and it just doesn't add anything new to the genre. Although the plot is cliched and the characters are very bland and uninteresting for the most part, the performances, however, are pretty damn good. Superman, also known as Henry Cavill, plays one of the main characters in this movie, and he is pretty damn good even though he talks like, well, I used to be a thief, but now I work for CIA. I am pretty good at picking locks, and I'm good at beating people up, and I'm also really good in bed. Yeah. I love seducing ladies. Armie Hammer plays the KGB agent, and he is also pretty good. He and Cavill have solid chemistry together, and I really enjoyed their back and forth. So in this movie, a Brit plays an American plays a Russian, and a Swedish plays a German, and an Aussie plays an Italian. And Hugh Grant is just Hugh Grant, but the sad thing about him is that he's not really in the movie, and that's kind of a letdown because I like Hugh Grant. Elizabeth Debicki though, wow. She's one of the reasons why I went to see this movie because I liked her as Jordan Baker in The Great Gatsby, and I heard she was playing a villainess in this film, and she's good. But I do wish there was a little more depth to the character because I found her very interesting. But the movie itself is a throwback to 60s spy movies, so it kind of makes sense that there's not much depth to any of the characters. This is the definition of a fine movie. It's not great, but not terrible either. It's just fine. I don't know what else to put it. It's just fine. I enjoyed for what it is for about 2/3 of the movie, but as soon as the third act kicked in, the plot became way too confusing, and the last half an hour of this movie felt like a completely different movie. It became more violent, the story got messier and way too confusing, and the cinematography started going like this, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. A couple of twists and turns happened, and I was like, I don't know what I'm watching anymore. So guys, in the end, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is, for lack of a better word, just fine. It's very uneven and flimsy and convoluted. It has a solid cast and the opening action sequence is pretty damn good, but it's just a very forgettable spy romp, so I'm gonna give The Man from U.N.C.L.E. a C+. It's slightly better than American Ultra, but not as good as Mission Impossible 5. So guys, what are your thoughts on The Man from U.N.C.L.E? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What is your favorite Guy Ritchie movie? Let me know your thoughts down below. And thank you so much for watching, and if you like this, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel as well, and I'll see you guys in the next video.